course, the war has been absolutely devastating for the children of Ukraine. The Kyiv Independent is reporting at least 28 children have died and dozens of others have been wounded in the fighting. 500,000 children have left Ukraine since the invasion began, according to UNICEF. Some of them leaving their home country without the support of family. Perry Russum is live in Szczebeniska, Poland, about 50 miles from the border of Ukraine. He spoke to some people who are taking in the country's orphans.
Kelly, room is getting tight. They're trying to move the orphans to other parts of the country to allow more orphans to come in. At the border, it is incredibly busy. Gas is being limited. Train stations are packed. Hotels, you cannot find a room. The hotel that we are staying at, the United Nations is taking half of the entire hotel. Then add in the fact that more people are said to be coming in. Fear of what's to come is forcing Ukrainians west. This morning, a surge. Refugees standing side by side at a train station in Przemysl, Poland. This is being called a human avalanche. Long lines to buy a ticket, a piece of paper to safety. The station doubles as a shelter. 2 hours north, a Polish orphanage is taking in Ukrainian children without a family, now without a country. Their laughter fills a playroom. The children were evacuated from a town near Kyiv. We're told they don't understand why they had to go. Marian Loshevich runs the orphanage. He says it was hectic finding the children. There was miscommunication over which border crossing to go to. How many orphans are you expecting to come across the border? It's hard to say, he tells us. There are thousands of orphans in Ukraine. When the children were found at the border, they were shaking. Young lives uprooted. Anna Lukashik says when she saw them at the border, she had tears in her eyes, repeating, "They're ours, they're ours." At the border, pets are abandoned. They're collected, then sent to shelters. In kennel number 29 is a dog we're told was found tied to a trash can. Her owner left food nearby. The dog was sitting outside for hours.
This little guy, he was found on the border. We think he was lost. Somebody lost him when they were traveling to Poland.
Some refugees are dropping off their pets, promising to get them as soon as they can. This cat is one of them. The fur was so matted, it had to be shaved. The owner said they'd be back in a week. This shelter, they tell us, has no more room.
I actually had to say no to one family with 9 dogs that's traveling to Rzeszów, but we will still try to sort something out.
It's bad now, but imagine what this would look like if millions of more Ukrainians come into Poland. The groups that we showed you in our stories, the ones that are helping the orphans and the pets, their budgets were already tight, so now they are entirely stretched thin.